Carol Robinson, Mrs. Robinson.
Eileen Levine, Mrs. Levine.
I've been with Mariah for many, many years. Had some of your siblings, some of your other children.
And I'm in Mariah. This is my 4th year here. Prior to here, I was in early childhood, so there's a number of you who know me as, well, I was in 2nd grade prior to early childhood as Mrs. Levine. Then I went to more Amy to early childhood. So some of you children know me as more Amy. We'll have to adapt a little bit to calling me Mrs. Levine when they return to school. And Carol and I had known each other a very long time, for many summers spent together
At camp, yeah.
So we have
So we
a
go way
long,
back.
long relationship.
Right. So what we're going to do is tell you a little bit about what to expect with your children, talk to you about the room, and you're going to be very impressed. Just saying. What is first grade?
We're going to get to this.
What is first grade? As Rabbi Alter said, it's a whole different experience. It's a big leap from kindergarten down there to first grade. But what we're doing in here is we're learning independence. We're learning responsibility. It starts when they walk in with their little backpacks. They take out their folders. They take out their snacks. They put their backpacks away. They find their seats, and they're ready to start their day. Well, the most important thing is everyone's going to read, everyone's going to go to college, but we want them to feel safe, and we want them to have a good time and feel good about themselves. And the way we do that is that everything in this class, in our first grade program, is leveled. Your children will learn the way they need to learn. They will have their materials that is appropriate for them.
And also, part of the culture in our classroom and in school, of course, is our partnership with them, which is paramount. And that, along with our partnership with you, is the communication. So Mrs. Robinson alluded to coming in and bringing out their home folders from home. One of the many ways that we have connection with you from school to home. We will be sending home communication in that home folder and homework, and you can communicate with us back in that home folder. And of course, you can email us. We want a constant back and forth of communication. Certainly, if anything that's changing at home, you're going away. There's a life-changing event at home. We certainly want to know about it, and we want to be able to, be prepared and certainly have that communication from home. So the partnership between home and school is the top of things. So this is a sample daily schedule of first grade. Sample because it's really just an indication of what a day might look like, excluding specials of certain days. And Friday is a special day. So Friday is really not up here. Certainly Friday is a little different when we go to short Fridays. Lunch, for instance, is going to be at 10:30, not 11, or a little bit earlier in the day. And we have Science Friday, and we have Flashlight Friday, when we have time for the children to take out a flashlight, do some independent reading, and the lights are dimmed. So Friday is Scholastic News, and really looks a little bit different than this. But for the most part, Monday through Thursday, and inclusive of specials on certain days, which we'll talk about later, looks like this. Your children come in the morning, arrival is at 8:15, as close as 8:15 as we can get. It's a great time for them to just settle in with their friends, get themselves organized, and go into the first word of the day is tefillah. And then once the tefillah is over, it's our opening of the morning, which is also very important. It sets expectations and routines, and it's the same process for us every morning. Our opening. What does opening look like? We take out our calendar. We talk about the calendar and the special day of the week. I happen to be this week's star of the week. But every Thursday, we're going to have the star of the week who's going to be able to take home the All About Me robot page and fill out and color all aspects about oneself that's important that they'd like to impart to their friends and their teachers. And every day, the following week, after your child and you fill out the All About Me page. They get to, as part of the opening, talk a little bit about one aspect of themselves and go through that and start the week every week. The schedule of the day will be up, and every day there's a sentence. Today we have, and we talk about the schedule of the day, which is really, really important because it's the routine and the expectations that first graders have, especially in the beginning. Routine is constantly reinforced. And then we have our reading rotations and recess and snack in between, and math rotations, and Carol will really talk more about reading and math and writing in the next few slides, and how those work. And then before you know it, it's the end of the morning here, and we're ready to pack up and move on to Judaic studies. So I'm looking forward to the next step. Before we talk about reading and writing and math, which is all encompassing, this is a classroom of personalized learning. So your students, our students, have a classroom that they're experiencing, where their work, their activities, anything they're engaging, have meaning for them and relevancy to their own lives, connecting them to their personal interests, to their personal experiences. So not only does personalized learning refer to differentiating learning and working with them at their academic and skill level and different reading groups and math groups, but also our own expectations and what we know about your child and personal connections that they can make from their daily lives and make their learning more meaningful for them.
And that they know success.
Which they know success from making those connections.
So I'd like to focus your attention over here to tell you about our reading series. Our reading series is called Journeys, and I want to just show you how it starts. This is the first book. By the way, all of our academics are New Jersey Core Standards, so we are doing the Core Standard program. And it starts out, and it's all good literature, and it starts out pretty simple. And very, very, very simple. Reading, children are not supposed to be reading this, we read it with them. And then by the end, they're reading Frog and Toad, and they're reading much harder, developed stories. However, there's always the essential question. What is that? The essential question is the children are reading for a purpose. So as we read it, we're keeping in mind what the essential question of the story is, and then we go back and we talk about it. Every story has a genre, so we're introducing fiction, nonfiction, fantasy. Every story has words, which we'll talk about wordable words later on. Everyone has your turn. Let's talk about the essential question, classroom conversation, responding, writing. Don't get scared. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. We will do this very slowly with the children. Text to text, text to self, and text to world. Pretty different than when you went to first grade. But this is on all levels, and how we do this is in very small groups. But before I show you about the groups and how we do our rotations, we have two of these. This is the workbook that each child has. It's a consumable, and this aligns with what we're doing in our reading stories. And it can be anything from phonics, from the word wall words, from writing your opinion. So this goes along with the book. We also have, and this will be homework, leveled readers. They're all the same topic, but they're all leveled for what's appropriate for the children. For instance, this one has very few words. Okay. This one, slightly more difficult. This one, they all have, though, at the end, target skills, summaries. And you may say, well, how do you know where my child's going to fit? How do you know if my child... What we do is we do something called Fountas and Pinnell, and that is a program. Maura Marilyn did it to the children, those of you children who were here last year in kindergarten. She is giving us a stepping stone and we know where the children are coming in, and then we test them, and then we know where to start the children and where the levels are. So how does it work? If I lift your attention back here, okay, thank you. You will notice this is called our reading rotations, and it's done by that clock. See that clock, that timer? Okay. The timer is set for 20 minutes. Each rotation is 20 minutes. We do it Monday through Fridays. The children are in their groups. All of their supplies and books are kept in here. It corresponds with this, so they know, okay, shooting stars, first you're going to go to independent. That's back here. Okay? Then it says, okay, racers, you're going to be up front, teacher directed. Okay, lightning bolts, you're going to be in digital. And right behind you is our cart, which is full of our Chromebooks, and every child has a Chromebook that they use with a number. Every child has their own headsets and their own mouse. Okay? So they know, and then also more Marilyn, for those of you who know her from last year, she does come in and she does work with some of the children. Okay? This changes every day, okay? And down here that it would say red, blue, yellow. They will know, what am I going to do when I get to blue? What am I going to do when I get to red? What am I doing? So that it takes time, but once it's a wonderful thing to see. When that timer goes off, they know they stand up and they rotate. These desks are by design. That's why there's nothing here, you notice. There's nothing for anything. They do not stay stationary. These desks really don't belong to the children. They pick themselves up and they move, and these can be moved as we need them. So this is done Monday through Friday, and things that we would do up there as teacher directed. It says Smartboard activities. Okay, that's the Smartboard. It ties in with our reading program. We may be doing some fun games. Again, we're only first graders. We may be doing some fun games with what's nonfiction and fiction, what is short A and long A, things like that. The phonics is done up there. We do writing. We've asked you for several journals. One of them will be, we'll talk about our wordable words in a minute. One of them will be for actually answering questions. Another thing will be for like grammar or writing, okay? And some of the digital content that we are being used, which are fabulous, it's called Raz Kids, Smarty Ants, and Lexia, okay? Sometimes this will be for homework. This is a very important piece of paper for you from Lauren Adler to help you. She is wonderful on helping if you're not sure how to get on or how to get your passwords. You want to keep this, okay? Book reports. There will be book reports. Again, leveled book reports. Everything we do is leveled. It starts very simple. It may be a character study. It may be fiction or nonfiction. It may be research. So we will get to all of this. The other thing I wanted to mention, besides these leveled books that go with the series, is we have a wonderful, wonderful series called Red Brick. It is phonics, and it's leveled, and I just want to show you again how we differentiate. That, for instance, this is our lowest level, and you can see, okay, very simple, but good stuff. And then this is called Mapping the World, and some of our students are ready to be doing this. Okay. We're also going to be doing novels. If you're familiar with Tales of Amanda Pig, some children will be doing this with us. And again, we're answering questions, we're talking about it, we're looking for certain words, and of course, good literature. And some children will be reading, for instance, Freckle Juice. So we do have all levels, but it's all good stuff. I want to interrupt 1 second for those of you who maybe don't know Marilyn.
Hi, I'm Laura Marilyn. Some of you know me from kindergarten. In first grade, it's a little bit different. I am in actually all the first grade classrooms. I push in so I don't take the children out. And after myself and the teachers will assess the children, we use a standard Fontes and Pinnell benchmark assessment so that we actually find out where your child is reading, and that's how we will group them according to that. I will actually have a small reading group every day, Monday through Thursday, and I will work with those children. But in addition, sometimes I have a little extra time in my schedule, and I can actually stay in the classroom. So besides the children that I'm reading with each day, I can help individual children if they're struggling with something or they just need a little bit of hand holding, and I can go over and be with them. So I'm really working with all the children. It's almost like having a third teacher
Yeah.
in the classroom. So it's great.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that we do the handwriting book, and this is Zainer Blauser handwriting. Okay? So the children are learning how to write. A lot of questions I get is, my child holds the pencil so strange, can you help? We try. We do try. There's two things that I do want to show you that we teach the children besides handwriting position, feet on the floor, belly to the desk. Then I say, okay, A-okay, or flip through. Can I say that again? Okay, A-okay, or flip through. And if they do that, they hold it correctly. Any children left-handed? Okay. Okay, left-handed, right-handed? Slice of writing is something we do every day. That's why they need one of those journals. We start out very simple. As my favorite food is, they get a piece of paper, they write it in. We develop into, I like the holiday blank because, and then we extend into using, we call it juicy words, adjectives, and then we write more and more. We give them pictures that they have to write about. We have wonderful creative writing stories. Poetry, as I mentioned before, we work on comprehension. But again, baby steps, process. You're going to love Gigi. If you haven't, if your children have here, ST Math, Gigi. What makes Gigi so great with math is Gigi doesn't talk. So all Gigi does is show you. So we love this program because children who have difficulty reading, it doesn't matter. By the way, all the programs, the digital programs, do read to the children. Okay? This is Go Math. It's part of what we've been using before. It's something new that we're starting. We're going to be trained tomorrow. Each child, we're very excited about this, is going to get a book just like this for each chapter. What are we going to be teaching them? Addition and subtraction up to 18. Double-digit addition and subtraction without regrouping. Okay? Geometry, solid figures, plane figures, word problems, touching on money, and touching on time. So the core curriculum is a lot of language. So a lot of children can add without any problem or subtract. But when it comes to explain how you got your answer, that is something that we develop with the children very slowly. This is chapter 1, addition concepts. Okay? What I like about this is it brings in science. So look at this. Not only are they doing math, they're reading, and then down here you get some science. Where do penguins live? Where do lions live? Show what you know. Understanding vocabulary. There's always words, math words. Again, we pre-test the children before we begin each chapter. If a child knows 2 plus 3, 1 plus 2, we're not going to sit there and make them do this. But what we do is horizontal. We continue to enrich them and do other things. Okay? Our math programs do that on the digital. This program has different pieces. Again, homework will be leveled. There's reteaching, there's the regular, and then there's enrichment. These groups are very fluid. Some kids, they are just amazing when it comes to word problems. Some kids have no concept for geometry, so that's why we always do pre-test. The reading groups are pretty, again, they are fluid, but they pretty much stay that way for a while. But this is really changing. The math groups really change according to what the skill is. So we're very cognizant of that. And we can go on any digital math and reading. We're constantly evaluating where the children are, what they need. Do they need lessons from us? Do they need a little more at home? Oh, they know that. Let's move on and do something else.
And then sort of bringing it back to reading and writing and language, and there's a lot of language in math as well, is word wall, which is a very prominent aspect to the classroom. In that every week your children will get a new set of high-frequency words on Monday morning, about 8 words, 8 to 10 words a week. Generally, those words are pulled from the reading that we're doing,
Like
the
right
stories
here,
that
words
we're
to
doing.
know.
And sometimes we'll interject words, commonly misspelled words, might be the words of the week. Or if we really want to focus on long A words, or words that are IGHT words. But for the most part, most of the words come from the reading books. And your children will be getting those words. They have a notebook as well for the words, and they have several activities that they will be given along with those words that they will be doing as nightly review. So your homework will say your nightly word review, and it's something that should be spread out. Some of the children love to do all of the work in one day. Yes, is that the process that will reinforce it mostly? No, spreading it out where they do 1 or 2 in the evening is most will reinforce the words for them. And then on Friday is the word wall challenge. So it's a word wall challenge. It will seem to you like it's a test. It's not a test.
We've never used that T word.
It's not a test, but it's assessing the words that they have been able to master. And it certainly gives us an idea of what we need to still reinforce, what we can move on to. So every Friday we'll have a word wall challenge.
And then after winter break, we will start dictating sentences of words that they know. So not only will they have their words, but we're going to dictate sentences, and we're looking for mechanics. How do you begin a sentence? How do you end a sentence? Can you give us an adjective? Can you give us a verb? So we start to stretch, and you'll see the word bonus. Well, that we take from maybe when we do our science, maybe we're going to do clouds, which we do, and they love to learn the different words, and they love to have the challenge of the bonus. No one is ever forced to do it, but they like the challenge.
Right, and the words on Monday, the words of the week are here, and eventually they make their way up until.
And they're always up, so the children can use them for the writing. Our science, your children are going to know about clouds. They are going to know every kind of cloud, and we are going to have so much fun with clouds. Like, for instance, we're going to make this, and it's going to actually rain. Okay? We're also going to do wonderful things with the 5 senses. So these are just 2 of the topics that we will be doing in science.
Of course. Okay, I'll move this way.
I'm not gonna work.
2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, I put too many times. Homework. Homework in first grade is assigned Monday through Thursday. Every night it will be posted on an online posting on Haiku. Some of you may be familiar with Haiku. It'll be there every night. We put it on Haiku every night. If you've missed a day, your child has missed something, it's always there to refer back to. And of course, it's in your child's folder every night.
With directions.
With directions that are not only there for you to see, but explain to your children, before they come home with the homework, which comes back to us the next day. There's a folder with take home and leave at home, and every day homework will be going home with your child. Sometimes the homework will be on digital, and that will be explained to you as well. IXL, 1-1, 1-3. We ask that when it's digital homework, the children really are very excited and always want to move ahead and do more with the digital. But that they do it when it's assigned. And don't move ahead because it allows us to assess what they're doing and to see where they're at and to make sure that we assign them to the level of work that they're essentially up to.
The question always is how much should I help my child do homework? Okay? Well, see the nod. Yes. First grade's about modeling. We assume that the children know what to do. They don't know what to do. We're going to model how do you walk in halls? What are the expectations when we go to lunch? What are the expectations when we do our rotations? We need you to help them. What does homework look like? Where are you going to set up homework for them to do it? How are they going to come home and maybe have a snack and some playtime and then sit down and do it? Some children, you need to tell me what the homework is. How do you remember this? Some children, I understand it, I understand. Some say, I don't know. P.S. That's when you can email us. ASAP. We always have our phones. We'll be glad to help you. Okay? The other thing is that how much spelling? How much do we help my child with spelling? In the beginning, it's fine to help them. It's fine to let them do inventive spelling. But as they get more and more words, and as they're learning how do you write a sentence, the mechanics, we want you to reinforce that. Well, let's take a look at this. Does this look right? How do you begin that sentence? So in other words, we need to model and help them. Some children, it's fine if you're just in the room with them. Other children need to have someone next to them. But please try to check their homework so you have an idea what's going on. If you feel it's too hard or so-and-so didn't get a concept, just write it on the top of the homework. When we check it, then we know what to look for. Many of you work, and you're saying, well, I get home too late. My housekeeper, my babysitter, that's fine. But just take a look so you're aware and you know what's going on. Homework needs to be done in pencil.
Right.
Okay? A lot of times in first grade there's coloring involved. Coloring is not pencil. It can be colored pencils, it can be crayons, it can be markers. We want them to do a good job. And I always say, guys, are we green? We're not making ourselves green. Or do we have purple hair? No, only for plural. So we want to try to be realistic and make sure that they're really trying. It's not just, oh, I just want to get it out of the way. And homework's only 10 to 15 minutes.
It's just, right, 15 minutes, longer or less, but that's about the time frame in first grade that it should be. And, and also with the home folders they're taking home, if you can please clean them out at the end of the week,
Yeah,
and come back fresh the next day, so, it's
Yeah. So much to share. Oh, this is fun. So, we're first grade, we have fun. First grade jitters, I don't know about you, but I couldn't sleep. Could you sleep, Mrs. Levine, the night before? Oh, no. So we know that's first grade jitters. And we're going to talk about first grade jitters, and guess what? We're going to have jitter juice. And we're going to be just fine. Okay? It's kind of hard. We're transitioning from kindergarten to first grade. We have to sit in our seats. Oh, my goodness. But guess what? We are quiet critters. We only come around when you're working quietly. We get scared when we hear a sound. We like to sit on your desk and watch you from afar, but if you start to make some noise, we're going back into our soundproof jar. And then we never want to signal anyone out. So sometimes children need a reminder on how to work. Please stop what you're doing and make a better choice. Very quietly, just put it on the desk. No one's singled out. We pick it up when we see appropriate behavior. Sometimes we get such great ideas, you just can't believe it. And guess what? You get a brain kiss. And we want everyone to be fair. So guess what? Who is the lucky duck? Pull out your name. Everyone is a lucky duck. That's how we take turns and we do things. We want to read. Oh, so brownie points. This is really fun. So when we all have quiet critters on our desk, guess what? We put a brownie. And guess what happens when the brownie tray is done? Yep, we got a brownie party. And guess what, in the winter when we have little marshmallows, yep, we have hot chocolate. And guess what happens in the spring? Yep, we got ice cream. So there's a lot of incentive. But sometimes we're little. We need a brain break. How many of you know Gummy Bears, that song? I'm a gummy bear, gummy, gummy. So we have all kinds of brain breaks that we do, just a 10-minute move around kind of thing. Some of them are games, some of them are songs, but they get their spilkas out. And then we can, okay, let's regroup, and now we're ready to move on. Bubbling over with books, kind of boring, there's no bubbles over there. You are going to get a bag of round circle bubbles, and we start with bubbles. And anytime your child reads a book with you or they read, please have the bubble, fill it out, and I promise you by the end, bubbles are everywhere. So we hope to read just a little bit of that. Oh, they're very proud of it.
Their bubbles.
Yes. I have a bubble. Did you put my bubble up? And they're all different sizes. So that's incentive to read and love reading. You may want to take a picture.
These are the specials for
when
general studies.
This is just general studies.
Right, so of course there's 2 gyms, but this is gym when we're with your
Also,
children.
girls, please don't wear any dangling earrings and jewelry on that day.
Sneakers obviously
Yeah.
for gym. And the library will certainly inform you when we've set that schedule for the library.
And we sent home a notice the night before, library day tomorrow, please return your book. Okay, we have Mary
Go
Jo.
ahead, I'll give them a sec, everybody's writing it down.
One quick question about, so it's always posted online and the same sheet is always in their folder, right? Okay.
The sheet that
Okay.
on haiku is going to be it's not going to be this sheet. It's going to say, do pages so and so.
And also know the homework, when it is posted, it's differentiated, so if your child is in a certain group such and such, pages 3 through 5,
But again,
so you'll know.
email us. Send in 2 and 3 healthy snacks, please, healthy, okay? A lot of times the kids, I didn't have breakfast, I'm so hungry. The bus came, please try to make sure they have a chance to eat, okay? And as we had mentioned before, we just want to get to this. Okay, power of yet. There is a difference between not knowing and not knowing yet. I don't know has become I don't know yet. If you say I can't, you must add the word yet. And we'd like to share this with you.
We had a question,
I'm sorry.
Mrs. Robinson, about who's going to tell parents about getting onto IQ?
Or like but are we,
Oh, for the
she's not gonna
IXL.
want us all to email her every
No,
single.
no, we're going to send home the IXL login, but some
She said it
parents.
doesn't work. Then
Correct.
contact.
Yeah, we're going to send home for every little different thing.
Got
Is this
You're gonna be
sign-ons,
tired of us.
logins
Yeah.
for,
Well, let's get this started again. I'm sorry, this is really worth making big.
I know.
This is really worth it.
He's no look right.
It's my favorite.
Oh, we'll never get this!
You try to act but the numbers came out wrong. You try to sing but you didn't know the whole song. You try to cook but the food it didn't taste right. You try to dump but you didn't get enough hype. You didn't do it right now, but keep trying to do it right. You just didn't get it yet, but you get it soon, I bet. That's the power of the yes.
Let's stop this. Did you get the idea, right?
That's what you get.
We wanted to leave questions. I mean, this is so cute, it's unbelievable. But in case there are questions, because we didn't want to rush you,
If we order the supplies to be here
Right
from the
there.
school? Oh, okay, great.
we'll take care of it. We're on it.
Otherwise, they should bring everything first day.
Yeah.
Okay, and should it be clean?
Yes.
Oh, my best for everything, yeah, okay.
Erase yours like initials.
Just like, here's obviously our contact information,
Oh,
just
yeah.
a little note about emailing. When you email us, certainly during the course of the day, just know we certainly will get back to everyone the end of the day, the beginning of the next day. You have dismissal changes, clearly we get copied on that, but that should go to the front desk. If there's any kind of a situation that's immediate concern, because we're teaching your children and we're involved in the classroom and not at the computer, and you need to get some sort of communication, then call the school, email an administrator so that we're made aware. Just know that if you do email something at 9 in the morning, we might not be seeing it till later.
I will make a disclosure. This lady's here, because I live in West Orange. I'm here at 7:10 in the morning. You can email me and I will get back to you, seriously, okay? But once the door's open, we're rocking and rolling. I mean, we'll try, but your kids are our most important. Yes,
Is there, should we be emailing both of you if you want?
please, yes.
And actually, if you have something that, certainly about your child, that all 4 teachers, class 1, 3, so for the most part, you should be emailing and including the
Yeah,
input
please.
of everyone,
Thank you
all
for
4
asking.
teachers.
Since we are co-teachers, otherwise we're gonna have to eat, did you get that? Did you get
And will we know who our child is reading with and who they're reading math with?
We're gonna do it all, you're gonna know the groups.
But they're gonna be working with,
We'll
one
rotate.
day, right,
Yes.
so we're,
If you're working with Maura Marilyn, she will let you know, she will contact you personally, and all that. Doesn't it sound like we're gonna have a good time?
you can either brain break.
One more thing. Thank you for your commitment, your involvement, and your encouragement in your child's education. Here's something for your enjoyment. I promise you this was full. I think
We
that's
think
a little
there were
present
some-
maybe in the Bible. So the folks. So any questions? Again, we're always here.
If something comes to
Please.
you later, feel free, absolutely, to email.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
We're transitioning and then.
Hi.
Thank you so much. We are. Thank you.
You're gonna see us.
here, and then we'll start our whole presentation. But I actually wanted to start with everyone just going around the room, introducing themselves to each other, so that everyone knows each other and we're all family all together. Some of you might be new to Mariah, some of you maybe have never been to class as your friend's child, so let's just get started. Good. Hi. Good. How are you?
Rivka and my husband's Brooklyn and our daughter is Eden.
It's helpful for us. We're on the first day, and now I like know who everyone is.
Emily and Dave Lichtman, and our daughter is Annabelle.
Tanya and Adam Weiler, our son is Eli.
Lauren and Marty Tabaxlot and our son is Nate. Joanna and David Parker, our son is Stanley.
Leah and Jake Prokorski, your son is Tony.
Jen Walton and our son is Asher. Connor Katz, my son is Mel.
Sassy Myers, my daughter is Tommy.
Thank you. Very nice to meet all of you. Some familiar faces, some new ones. This is Moretti. Hi, everybody. We're co-teachers. Moretti, I just sit inside. She was just doing her other class presentation, which is with Moralaya, and I teach also in second grade in the morning. So just
Is it always English in the morning and then we don't even?
yeah.
From, yeah. I don't like it.
We're very excited for next week. We can't wait to meet your children. We really love teaching first grade. Except first grade is like amazing because, I mean, they go from not being able to read and write Hebrew, and by the end of the year, it's incredible how much they learn. So it's a really big transition here, and just really turning into students. We have just a short little video to show you first.
The kids know how to fix it more than we do, so they're not here yet. We'll try it. We turn it on and off, and sometimes helps. Should we just start? Should we show this afterwards?
Joe, good quote.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're good. Oh, and now it's good. Can we start again? Yeah.
So a major part of the first first grade curriculum is the Talam program. We use the Talam program. And over here you'll see that the children will meet Mora Shira, who's also a first grade Mora, and they'll also meet all the students in her class. And these children at Mora Shira and Ariok become like a big part of our classroom. You know, the kids know that Shachar, who's this boy right here, that his favorite color is blue, and Sharona's favorite color is red, and like, it's just an engaging way to teach them, and it brings a ton of vocabulary, and it teaches a lot of the reading component and writing as well, which you'll see that we supplement with our own reading booklets and our own writing booklets, but this is just a fun way for them to get more excited about the learning. There's a lot of songs, especially when it comes to the holidays, that your kids, like we put on the songs at the beginning, like when we introduce any of the holidays. Every day when we open up, what we're going to start with Rosh Hashanah, because that's what's coming up. Before we open up the booklets, or while we're handing them out, we'll put the music on, and it's just always like a very lively, exciting classroom. You'll see they'll probably come home singing those songs. We also use a lot of those songs in our Siddur play, so it's exciting for them. So this is the Ariok booklets, which we spend a lot of time working on, and this is really what teaches them the letters and the vowels, and we add with our own things, but we spend a lot of time using these materials as well. So each week we'll focus on a different letter, and with each letter that we learn, we introduce at least 6 new words a week. So like up there right now, you'll see the Aleph words. You're going to get flashcards of Ani, Abba, Saba, Ariot, Adom, and Aron. So these flashcards, you'll get them each week, or at least each time we introduce the next letter. Sometimes we'll need 2 weeks to complete a letter. It depends on how the school days fall out and the holidays fall out. So you'll get these in the red folder, and they can be taken out and left at home. It's very helpful for the students also, because the homework will use these words a lot. These are like very frequent, high frequent words, and they become sight words. I mean, after short amounts of time, they really are able to recognize these words right away. So you'll see those coming home in your red folders, which will be, those are the Hebrew folders. And then you'll see, and we're going to get more to this with homework, but we have these Choder Kriya. So this is the first one that you're going to be getting. It'll come home also in the red folder, and we'll assign a different page of reading each night. So this is all a teacher-made additional reading, and we do whatever the students need. Obviously, we add a lot of reading. We spend extra time. The great thing about having 2 of us in a classroom, and we'll talk about the co-teach model, is that it really allows us to spend extra time with particular students if they're struggling with a certain skill, and spend extra time reading with them. So that's very helpful. And they really enjoy hearing the stories, like I was speaking before about Mora Shira and the kids in their classroom. So there are a lot of stories that go along with it and introduce them to more vocabulary. So they love those. And there are these little storybooks also, which later on in the year we read them a lot more frequently in class, and we also send them home for homework. And there are some students who just love reading Hebrew so much that they'll come over to us and they'll ask us, we're at Timorial, can we take a book home tonight? Can we take it home for Shabbos to read? And they really do enjoy reading these stories. It's just a fun way to read. And this is much more exciting than reading the phonetic reading that they read here. Like, there are no pictures and color. It's not a story. So this makes it much more exciting for them and fun.
Next, I want to talk a little bit about how we are Ivrit in this class, which means that we speak in Hebrew. And believe it or not, the kids really understand it on the first day. We do a lot of acting out, have a lot of props, pictures. Like sometimes it's cute at the beginning, like we say like Shalom, my name, or Eti, or Yael, and we'll ask them for their name in Hebrew, and they'll like repeat, or like they get used to it though, but really they hear it, and that's really the best way to learn it. And so we're surrounded by this Talam curriculum, which, as you just heard, so these are the characters in the books that we read about, in the computers that they play with. These are the characters that they see all the time. And in these books, they're always, eating something or playing with something. So we try to mimic all these activities that they read about and learn about, and we bring it into our classroom, and it's a lot of fun. The kids love it. In a story like elephants make a salad, so we take all those ingredients as the recipe says, and we make it together in class. We read about a tapas, a chef who makes toast. We get a toaster, we wear hats, and it's very, very cute. We do a lot of activities like that. We have an ice cream party when we're back in Utah. So the kids really, really enjoy it and feel very connected, even to these Hebrew words that they keep hearing over and over. It really gives them a connection and they understand it. In addition to the weekly Ario Oberet that you just saw, we also have this Shalom curriculum, which has its own machbarot. These are booklets that they work with that are on thematic units. It could be about clothing or seasons, and this is how they get familiar with a lot of vocabulary in addition to the sight words of the week. And again, we make it a lot of fun. We do a lot of show and tell in the class. We're learning about the color red. We'll tell everyone to wear a red shirt sometimes, so look out for notices because we definitely send home letters to dress up and bring stuff in. And then we also, throughout those books, a lot of verbs come up, and that's when, I'd say by mid-year, they're able to write their own sentences just by building this vocabulary up and knowing different verbs. They're able to write sentences, which is pretty unbelievable, especially because they come in not knowing any Hebrew, how to read it, speak it, so you'll see it's really unbelievable. Next we have,
So for the Chagim also, the Talon program comes with really nice booklets, and we were talking a little bit before about the songs that they're going to learn and just make them more excited. This is important to point out, because we had this last year where sometimes the parents had their children open up to any page in one of these booklets. Well, because we'll send this home. This is all Chagei Tishrei, so this really goes through Simchas Torah, so we're going to keep this in school until then we'll send it home for you to keep. And so sometimes parents wanted to see what their children learned. I guess they looked at the books and they wanted, they went to a random page and asked their child to read it, which we're talking about, you'll be getting these by the end of October. We expect, yes, on some of the pages that they're songs, so they should be able to sing it and then be able to follow on point, and because they'll know, maybe they know that shin says sh, so they'll be able to point. But we don't expect them, this is not like where we focus each and every page that they should be able to read and sound out every word that's in this. The reading component really, that comes with the Chover Kriya. The reading booklets we send home, that we would expect them to be able to open up and to read, and you'll see with Ario, each letter comes with a story, and we'll also be assigning those stories for them to read at home, and those you'll see, which is also amazing already with the story that it's a short story for the letter Aleph, that they're going to come home and be able to read this story to you, and they feel so good about themselves. But just so that you know that you don't need them to go through and read every page in this booklet. In addition to that booklet, we have a lot of teacher-made booklets that we use. This also adds a lot of different customs of the holidays and just more details and halachot that maybe are not found in those booklets. So these are also great. They're just very informative and teaches them a lot more about the holidays that they don't necessarily get from the Talon program. We'll also be making making projects and make really beautiful projects that they will get very excited about, and they'll be excited to come home and to show you and put it on your, tables. We also, before Rosh Hashanah, I think it's Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, it's a bunch of the holidays, we'll send home a Q&A, a question and answer, with questions and things we've really focused on, points of the holiday that we focused on, and we think they should go home and be able to answer, or at least answer, 90% of the Q&A. And they get excited about it. We usually tell them that if they have it signed by their parents and bring it back to school after the Yom Tov, then they get some sort of prize, and it's very exciting for them. They're very happy to come back with it signed. If one of those getting a prize, and it's a way for them to show off to you all that they've learned. So tefillah, in the beginning of the year, we start off, we were saying before that your kids have Hebrew in the afternoon, but I will be coming in the morning to daven with them, and then I come back after lunch with them to bench. So in the beginning of the year, we're going to start with using, we have a smartboard siddur. We have a siddur that we display on the smartboard and use the pointers, and we help them point to each word. We're really just teaching them, the sight words and how to follow along as we're davening. So we do that, and then when they're able to do it on their own, we'll have a chazan or a chazanit who will have come up, and they get to point for the class. And then we'll switch to a paper siddur. They'll get these paper siddurim after a while, like after a couple months, I would say, when we feel like they're really able to do it on their own and follow on their own. They'll get these paper siddurim, and in February is the much-awaited siddur play. We wrote down, and it says it on the letter, that the siddur play is on February 16th. I believe it's a Thursday, February 16th. So that's a really exciting time, and your kids are going to be, hopefully most of them will be very excited for the siddur play. Only one or two
You guys
are
will like
usually
the
like
whole thing
very
right
nervous.
before you come, because they usually are so
Yeah,
into
yeah.
it, and parents say that like their whole house is filled with the songs for months.
It's really a highlight of the year. We really enjoy that time, teaching it to them, and it makes them very excited to receive their siddur. So once they get their siddur after the siddur play, that's what we'll daven with. From February and on, they'll use their siddur. And our two main goals with tefillah is really that they should be able to read the tefillah from a siddur, and even tefillah, let's say Shemona Esrei, we're not going to complete that by the end of the year. We'll start with the first few brachot of Shemona Esrei, but they should be able to open it and sound out the words of Shemona Esrei by the end of first grade. We would expect them to be able to do that, even if we haven't practiced it yet in school. So that, and to be able to find the tefillot in a siddur, at least the tefillot that we've spent time teaching them, we want them to be able to open up a siddur and find, Matovu, or find Brachot, or find Shema. Yeah. So every time we teach, that's a good point. We start off, the kindergarten teachers tell us, the tefillot that the kids are familiar with from kindergarten, and we start with those, and we slowly introduce things like Baruch She'amar, Ashrei Shtabach, and with each tefillah that we introduce, we take time and we explain to them the words that they're reading. So I'm not saying they can explain to you, especially something like Ashrei, it's not easy. I think even for adults, it's not so easy to translate every single word, but they'll understand like the general, the gist of the tefillah. And I would say some tefillot, maybe like Shema more than others, that will spend more time and they'll know more words in something like Shema.
Okay, then Parsha, we teach every week. The kids love it. We tell it as a story first. They have Parsha sheets, and Parsha sheets usually have pictures. In the beginning, it's pretty much like primarily just pictures. Slowly, it's a Hebrew word, and we train them we read it to them, they repeat it, we tell them to draw a line from that word, like it's Abraham even, drawing from Abraham to a picture of Abraham. So they should be able to go home, honestly, and really tell you that says Abraham, even though they don't really know each of the letters yet. They should just, by sight word and from hearing the story, be able to tell that over to you, but not in the very, very beginning. It'll happen slowly. We definitely do some Parsha projects, depending on what the Parsha is. Like we make a tent for one of the Parshas with Abraham, inviting guests in. So we definitely send some of that home, and the kids really, really love listening to Parsha. We teach them the mitzvot that come up in the Parsha and the important lessons that they should walk away with. And we also tell them, we're telling you, to please sign their Parsha pages, so that this way we know that they're going home and telling you, and we give them prizes for this also. So we send home this Q&A for the Chagim and Parsha every week. We also would love for you guys to sign it, write a little note if you want. We make a big deal out of it, so that they're coming home and sharing Divrei Torah, and they're excited about it. We teach a lot about Eretz Yisrael as it comes up. So again, Parsha, if a place is mentioned, we talk about it. Every day we sing Hatikva after Tefillah, and we learn a lot about it. We tell them they can bring in like show and telling from Israel when it's Yom HaAtzmaut, and we make a couple Israel Israel Museum. So we definitely try to highlight that so that we instill in them the love for Eretz Israel. We also have shlichot that come in. So they're coming in soon, I think, from Israel. So they come into the classroom a few times a year at least, and they do fun activities with the kids so that they're surrounded, with real Israelis, and they're like doing fun activities and making a big connection also that way through to Israel.
Okay, so it's at Mariah multimodal learning, so that we really teach in a lot of different ways in order to, cater to every type of learner in the room, whether it's an auditory learner or a visual learner. So we teach things in a lot of different ways so that all the learners can get it. And a big part of, and we read this book over the summer, focusing on differentiated instruction, which basically means that we tailor the activities in the classroom, the lessons in the classroom, the homework to fit the needs of each and every student. And it could also be to fit the interests of the students, and sometimes, I remember last year there was a parent who said they felt like their child was ready for something more challenging, so then we'll go ahead and, we'll provide more challenging work for that child if, he feels a little bit bored or something. We definitely want them to feel like they're doing what's on their level. And the same thing with a child who finds the homework difficult, and we're happy to make modifications, and whether that's lessening the amount of reading or giving a different reading assignment altogether. So we really make sure to try and work with each student and their particular abilities. You probably heard a little bit about the rotation model in the classroom that in English, they do it as well, so they kind of spoke about how they use the timer, and throughout the week we work in rotations, and we do 3 stations in our room. In our room, I would say it varies what each group is for that particular day. Almost always, one of us do a reading group, and then so that the second group really can be anything from going over a letter or going over vocabulary for the particular letter we're up to. We change that up, so there's always 2 groups, one with Moriah, one with myself, and then there's an independent group, and that group usually sit on the Genius Bar. We call that the Genius Bar over there. They take out the computers, and they really love it. I mean, in our class, in Hebrew, the main program they work on is Ario Kal, which some of you may be familiar with that if you have older children in the school. So they really love that. Ario Kal is the computer program that goes along with the curriculum that we teach. So that's one of the centers. When we do the rotations, that's one of the independent stations. And we'll talk about more during the year. We remind students that they're only supposed to be going on this REO program in school. It's really never for homework until we get to the very end of the year when there are some students who are maybe falling behind in the program, and then we'll ask you specifically to let your child spend time in the program, but otherwise this is an in-school program. So either they're going to go on this REO Kal program during this independent group, or we provide them with independent classwork or review, or they'll work on a project in that time. But every group will make their way around the room and get to the independent group, the group with Moriah, and the group with myself. So that's our rotations. And they love it. I mean, it's a change of pace, and every 15, 20 minutes to hear the bell and move around the classroom. It's very healthy for them, and they appreciate being able to move around the class. We also spend time throughout the year doing different thematic units. There's one, for certain things, we also like to collaborate with the English teachers, like for Thanksgiving. We make a Thanksgiving feast, and we'll also we'll teach the children beforehand about, we'll tell them the vocabulary for Thanksgiving that we want them to know, things like how to say a turkey in Hebrew. And we do a lot of different multisensory activities with each letter. We want them to be able to really feel it. So we have stands in the classroom they can use to write the letters in. They can build letters out of Lego or Play-Doh. We'll bring in different foods like pretzels or Twizzlers that they can use to make the letters. And I mean, it's definitely more fun, and it just really it helps. For a lot of people, it helps them really take it in and take it all in instead of just doing it with a paper and pencil.
Okay, Okay, then there's a program that we do in the school called Code, which is really for social and emotional learning. The most important thing that Marty and I want for your children is that they love school, want to come to school with a smile on their face every day, they feel safe, and they have friends. So we really do spend a lot of time talking to the kids about, different important topics that come up and skills that we should be working on. So there's this formal setting that we do called Equal Conversations, and that we usually do once a week where we have a meeting, and there's a topic, could be, it varies, but like from basically like every month it's a new topic. Bullying comes up, a lot of different things, and we meet. Yeah.
Is it in here?
No, thank you for asking. We make sure that that's in English, like that's very important, that they all understand and they can talk about their feelings. And so we do this meeting formally once a week. And in addition to that, we're always looking out, like at recess, make sure everyone's happy, playing with friends. Like if it's a boy, that they're part of a team. Girls also like part of teams and talking with each other. We're very big on that to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. Right, so there's also, I know Dalia announced that Tamar and Yael are the guidance department, so if there's ever anything like emotional or anything you want to talk about with them, you can always also reach out to them. But definitely, please tell us if anything comes up, if we just want your kids to love coming to school and that we build with them all these important skills throughout the year. And if we see something going on past time after time, we'll stop, we'll take a break from the learning, we talk about it. It's more important than anything else, so we definitely are on top of that. In addition to that, we want just a positive class, and we have a lot of things involved to keep the positive energy going on throughout the classroom. So we have a marble system, which is a collective system as a class, that anytime we get a class compliment, walking in the halls, or someone another teacher points out, or we're walking nicely, or everyone's playing their names together, or if the coaches will tell us they had a great day together at gym, we'll give them marbles, and eventually they get a class prize, which we make a big deal out of. We also have a dojo system. I don't know if you're familiar with that. The older children you probably are, and you probably hear about it every day, every week, so we're really sorry, but
we had students last year who became so obsessed with it, they went home and made their own dojos. They made dojos for their families, and mom, dad, brothers and sisters all were getting points, and they were giving and taking away points.
So if you're not familiar, you're going to get familiar.
They really they enjoy it.
They're like avatars that everyone, we type in their name, so they pop up as these avatars, their name on it, and everyone's a different character. And throughout the day, we just point out positive social interactions or great work, and we're like, great job, we give them a dojo, and it's you literally see them, yes, it's very cute. So yeah, that just really increases, everyone working together and trying their hardest, and every week we give out dojo prizes to the winners. And yeah, so that's basically how we run the day, just to keep the incentive going and keep talking about positive stuff. Just to give you a little bit of a glimpse of the day, we start with English. So they dive in right before English starts. Moratti comes in to dive with them. And so after lunch, we take still have English. It's at 12:30, we switch to Hebrew. At that point, we go over the jobs of the day. We have different jobs, such as handing out papers, erasing the board, so that everyone feels included and that they're part of the class, they have something to do. We review who has what. We go over the date in Hebrew, like Hayom Yom Revi'i. We talk about everything we talk about. This Rosh Hashanah, we'll ask them a few questions right away about is a Chodesh Hachshav, we'll ask them what the month is, and we'll say what holiday is coming up. So it gets us talking right away in Hebrew, and then we go over with them the schedule of their day. So we tell them that we start usually with rotation right away, which is, so everyone goes to their group. Usually after 1 or 2 groups, that's when we break for recess. We go outside, if it's nice out, and even if it's cold, we usually go outside. So definitely send jackets, because it comes the winter. So I guess parents assume that it's freezing. We actually really go outside unless it's frigid out there, and we're also freezing, but we try to keep the kids to go outside so they can get fresh air. And then we come back, we skip or show, we continue with rotations, and if there's extra time, which there usually is after the rotation, we'll do another learning activity, either another Choveret, we'll read them a story, we'll do more work. At some point during the day, they went over homework. Every day, they have reading homework and writing homework. So even if they say they don't have homework, check and make sure, because like it's very rare that they don't. It's very important that they come home and that they read every day. Which brings us to the homework. Okay, so the homework, every week you'll get a sheet that looks like this, that has Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Yom Revi'i, etc. And it'll say Chover Kriya, page 1, Daf Avodah. We just send the worksheet. It's not in the booklet. It'll be one page that comes home each night. The homework, we get very little homework. I would say on average it should take not more than 15 minutes a night. Definitely reach out to us if your child's struggling through the homework, whether they're having trouble reading, whether it's clear that they can't read what we assign for them to read, or they can't complete independently their written homework. Please just let us know. You can jot it down. I mean, send us a separate note, jot it down on the actual homework sheet, email us, whatever it is. Just let us know. That way we can spend time with them in school. And we don't, and that's okay if they come in with some of it blank because they didn't understand it, they didn't know it. Stop them and like write us a note, because we don't want homework. We don't want them to feel bad about themselves, and homework should be a whole stress at home. We want them to feel good about their work, feel good about themselves, and just write us a note.
Yeah, so just let us know. That's very important. We're really more than happy to spend time with them on it in school. So every night we ask you to please listen to your children read, and they really can do the homework quickly on their own. You can maybe like remind them of what the instructions are. We go over it. I mean, a lot of times we also do one example in class, so they really should come home knowing what to do. And then it says Fatima, which underneath you could just initial your signature each night so that we know that you read with them. The reading is really critical, and just to reinforce the reading skills each night. Yeah.
Sorry, are they explained what to do beforehand? Like when in school they're told what to do?
Yeah, they're told what to do, they know which page to read. We spend a whole group practicing that reading page.
You have two left.
Okay, also if
You
you
have two
don't know
left.
how to read Hebrew, if some of you don't know how to read Hebrew, we have this every year, at least like more than once during the year, so do not be bashful. You can tell us so that we're more aware of it in terms of not so much really the reading, it's important that they get corrected, so if there's someone else in the family that can try to read with them that knows it, otherwise you can just tell us and we'll try to like work that out. Even with the written homework, sometimes it gets a little bit tricky. The students really know what to do, believe it or not, they really do. But if they're struggling, we could always like write something in English just to help you guide them through it. So just you can let us know. You can come over after, you can send us an email, whatever works.
So your red folder is going to have two sides to it. One side we call Tzad Tapuach, and there'll be a picture of an apple. And the other side is, so we have Tzad Tapuach and we have Tzad Bayit. The apple side is the bring back side, but that's going to be the homework, and the stuff in that side, please put back on the apple side and let it come back to school the next day. The house side is the stay-at-home side. It goes into your house, it stays at home. If you could please try to empty those out so that the folders don't get so large and heavy. And especially when it comes to like a Chav, when it comes to Yom Tov, like sometimes some projects might go in there, or the Q&A, so just look at it and take it out. Sometimes Sukkot will be over and we'll come back and like all the projects are still in there. We're like, what? You didn't show your parents? Like that's so sad. So if you could just like look at it.
Since there's like the next holiday.
So if you could just look and try to empty out the house side of their red folders, and just assign the homework each night, and those flashcards will come home each week. You can keep them at home. They're very helpful. They'll be helpful for your child to complete the homework, because a lot of times the written homework has the words on the homework sheet. So it's very helpful for them to have these flashcards at home. We suggest you could play memory with the flashcards, because one of the cards is a word and the other one's a picture. So you can play memory with them if that's a more fun way to play. Really, however your child feels like reviewing the cards. And just so again, most importantly, let us know if there's an issue with homework. Just really feel free to tell us so we can work on that. Snacks, you also might have spoken about this with the English teachers, but it'd be great if you could send like 2 to 3, definitely 2 snacks a day, because we have recess for 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon, so you eat a snack at both times. what happens a lot of times is I guess they're hungry and they're very hungry. I mean, we come into this classroom in the afternoon and we'll come in and all of a sudden, you know, a child says no snack, and it's a lot of times it's because you guys packed the snack, but they got really hungry in the morning and they already ate both their snacks. So you know your child. If you know they're going to only eat one snack, then great, 2 is enough for them. But if not, then just you can send 3, and that way they can have 2 snacks at one time. We also encourage bringing in healthy snacks, and we try to make them excited about that and make it a big deal when people bring in healthy snacks.
It's very cute. 1-3 is like famous for healthy snacks. Like
Yeah,
everyone
they
has
do.
apple, like bags of like carrots and cucumbers.
It is very cute. Like we say, we usually just say like the Brooklyn Heights and Aldama, and like that's it.
Yeah, we don't really do much to hot dogs.
They get very into the healthy snacks, so we definitely encourage that.
But no pressure. There were definitely the same kids all the time. They still had like a wrist sling. We're like, it's fine. They're fine. They're good. So you guys don't have to like freak out because like what's the turn all the time. It's happening. It's like always like the same kids. Like, my mom didn't have time. We ran out of apple. It's okay. You don't have to. You really do want to like keep us happy. But yeah, pretty much we really just want to end off by telling you that we're so excited. We love working together, and we're so excited to meet your kids next week. We want them to love school and just enjoy it, and you're going to be amazed. Like, first grade is a very big transition year. Some of you, I don't know if it's your first time, then your first time in first grade. Okay, so it's a lot of you. That's wow. So yeah, you're going to see like your kids, the first time your kids are sitting at a desk, and like we make it a lot of fun. We move a lot. We do a lot of fun activities, and it's incredible that they come in on the first day and not read a word of Hebrew or like what's going on, and like on the last day of school, kids speak in Hebrew, understand it, read it. They want to take home books and read more. You'll see a lot of growth this year, more than I would say almost any other year. Just this year, it goes from nothing to unbelievable. So you're going to be very excited to see that. If there's ever anything, definitely feel free to reach out to us. We're always here for you. No matter when, just reach out and we're here for you.
Is there a gym on this session?
Yes. Oh yes, we actually have gym already the first day of school. We have gym on Tuesdays in Hebrew. We have gym and music during the Hebrew time. So gym is actually, it's at 1:40 on Tuesday. So first day of school, come in, Hebrew. If you remember, I'm sure they won't get in trouble.
Yeah, they're not going to get in trouble.
But if you remember, that would be great.
Music on Thursday.
They have gym on Tuesdays and music on Thursdays.
Oh, yes, please bring
Oh, tzedakah. Yeah, if you can, send it in a bag, they can put it in their cubby and give it. We always sing a whole song with tzedakah, so
You can just like do a Ziploc for the week or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, we tell them not to use it all in one day, definitely.
Like a penny a day.
It takes too long in our song anyways. We're like, okay, great, 2 coins. But we don't want to like that. Thank you so much.